Hello, everyone. I'm Elizabeth with ADI and Snap One, and today we have the Clara Shades team on the call, and they'll be reviewing how Clara Shades integrates with Control4. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A feature, and we'll make sure to address your question at the end. This session will be recorded and posted on our snap1events.com archive. I'll include the link in the chat here for you to refer to. I know that Alex and Jason have a very jam-packed agenda for us today. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to them. Alex and Jason, welcome.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. It's a real pleasure to be here with you. Today, we're going to be focusing on configuring and integrating Clara Shades with Control4, covering PoE, Zigbee, and outdoor solutions to enhance the value you deliver to your clients. In this webinar, we're also excited to introduce the new PoE Ultra, a new offering that brings even more possibilities to your projects. We truly appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us. Our goal is to help you uncover new opportunities, streamline your processes, and ultimately drive greater revenue for your business. Thank you for your continued engagement and dedication. Today, if we move over the slide, there we go. I'm really excited to highlight our ongoing and exclusive partnership with Snap One. For over 2 years, Clara Shades have been available exclusively through Snap One, and this collaboration has allowed us to deliver tailored solutions that meet your specific needs. Our partnership reflects our shared commitment to excellence and ensures that every product meets the highest standards of quality and reliability. We deeply appreciate your continued support as we work together to make this partnership even stronger. One of the best ways to maximize the benefit of the Snap One Partner Rewards program is by selling Clara Shades. That's right. For every dollar spent, you earn 3 reward points. This reward system is designed to directly benefit you, adding significant value to your projects and boosting your sales initiatives. Clara is at the forefront of providing innovative window covering solutions for a variety of applications. Our products greatly enhance the comfort and visual appeal of both indoor and outdoor spaces. So whether it's for a single-family home, high-rise multi-dwelling units, commercial offices, or other major home automation systems, Clara Shades ensures seamless integration and consistent performance, optimizing user convenience and satisfaction. Today's webinar is built around a scenario where we'll commission shades in a home and integrate them with Control4. This scenario, for this scenario, we'll review the specific products being used, including their key features and benefits. Then we'll move on to commissioning and integrating the PoE and Zigbee shades, as well as the outdoor shades with Control4, walking you through each step of the process. After that, we'll introduce some exciting new features recently added to the Clara portal, designed to make your work even easier. To wrap up, we'll host a live Q&A session to answer any questions you might have. It's time to get started.
So let's take a look at today's scenario. Today's scenario focuses on the master bedroom. As you can see in the image on the screen, there are 2 windows behind the bed, each with a Cat6 cable. These will be covered with a PoE shades powered by PoE motors. The French doors, on the other hand, have no wiring, so we'll install Zigbee battery-powered shade mounted directly onto the doors. In the master bedroom, these 4 shades will be integrated into Control4 and programmed onto 2 keypads. The keypads will allow for both group control and individual shade control within the room. Additionally, we have an outdoor shade located outside the home. This shade will be programmed onto a Control4 keypad located in the kitchen, providing convenient control for the outdoor area. Now let's take a moment to recap the motor specification for Zigbee, PoE, and outdoor shades that will be used in today's scenario. So now, I'd like to talk about the S-line Zigbee motors. This lineup includes 3 types of motorization to suit various needs. First, we have the S-line battery shade that are part of today's scenario. This motor uses a rechargeable lithium-ion battery, eliminating the need for disposable batteries and ladder climbing for battery swaps. With our magnetic pigtail adapter charging solution, the battery is good for 500 cycles, typically lasting about 1 year with standard use. That means opening the shade in the morning and closing it at night. Next, we offer the 24-volt Zigbee motor. This motor not only provides reliable operation, but also acts as a router, extending the range of Zigbee mesh network, similar to Control4 Zigbee mesh repeaters. This capability ensures a robust and flawless operation. Finally, we have the 12-volt Zigbee motor, a more cost-effective option that does not include the routing function, but still provides dependable performance. The Zigbee lineup boasts a reliable range of 75 feet, though in practice, it often exceeds this distance. With a repeater, you can extend the range even further, ensuring a comprehensive coverage for all your shades. This solution also includes a proprietary handheld remote control. The shades and remotes communicate with the gateway over a Zigbee mesh, which then connects to third-party control systems like Control4. You can add up to 60 devices in one system, including shade, motors, remotes, and routing plugs. If a project requires more than 60 devices, multiple Taoma switches can be integrated seamlessly. The self-healing mesh of the Zigbee solution ensures continuation operation, even if one node fails, as the mesh recalculates to find another communication path until repairs can be made. In today's world, where everything is becoming a network device, it only makes sense to have a shading motor that is directly connected and controlled through the network. That's why we have the PoE motor. This motor is a fully wired solution, meaning both power and communication are handled over a hard wire, and you can use a Cat5e or better. The range of this network wire is an incredible 328 feet per run. The PoE shade has 2 very easy ways to commission it. There is either the web GUI interface, where you can simply scan your network to find the IP addresses of your shades and then log directly into them. Or you can use the commissioning software. The commissioning software, which you install on your computer, allows you to find and easily commission the shades. We will use this software in our scenario. Since this solution is entirely network-based, it is very reliable and cost-effective. However, it does require a PoE Plus switch, not just a standard PoE switch, and you must ensure the switch has sufficient power budget to operate all the shades in the project. Each shade requires a maximum of 30 watts of power at its initial up or down movement. It's important to note that unlike the Zigbee solution we discussed earlier, PoE shades absolutely requires a third-party control system such as Control4. They communicate directly with Control4 and do not have the capability to integrate with the Taoma. We're thrilled to introduce the new PoE Ultra motor, a significant addition to our Clara Shades offering. With the PoE Ultra, Clara Shades now boasts the best shade system on the market today. The PoE Ultra builds on the success of its existing PoE motor, which has been widely appreciated for its quiet operation at 47 decibel, ease of installation, seamless integration, and clean system design. But the PoE Ultra takes it even further, operating at an impressive 40 decibel, making it even quieter than the PoE Plus motor. This motor is versatile, capable of powering both large and small shades with the same ease of setup and integration that you've come to expect from Clara Shades. It offers exceptional value for clients while creating new revenue opportunities for dealers. For clients seeking cutting-edge technology, the PoE Ultra is a perfect fit. The PoE Ultra is a premium product. It represents the pinnacle of innovation and performance, offering the benefits that makes it a win for both you and your clients. The outdoor shades have enclosed or open roll configuration, both in hardware that have an exterior graded powder coated finish. Ultralock technology locks the shade securely, maintaining fabric tightness and resisting tampering. Adjustable inner rails offer installation flexibility, even in out-of-square areas. Our Clara outdoor shade combines zip-fed technology and Ultralock technology for superior performance. Moreover, our shades are equipped with obstacle detection technology, which automatically retracts the shade if it encounters an obstruction during closure, thereby increasing safety. This feature helps prevent harm to children and pets by stopping the shade from moving downward when an object is detected.
All right, it's time for the main event. Let's start by commissioning our two Zigbee shades now. So we're going to follow in the same order things were introduced. This is Zigbee. It all starts with the Tahoma Pro application that you'll add to your device. If you don't have access, there's a convenient I don't have access yet. And then we follow along to create our account information. So simple, follow the on-screen prompts and fill in the questions with all your information. There is a particularity when it comes to the phone number, which we'll see on after we fill in the company information. I would also suggest that if you don't have the app, download it today, have it ready. No need to wait until you're on site. You can already test your login too. So here we're just putting in our zip code. And next we're gonna fill in our city information. And down at the bottom, you're gonna see in this application, and even in the PoE one, a lot of the times the next step is always highlighted in that yellow that you see. Now we put in your personal email address. Here I just used a generic email address. Once that's entered, this is what you're going to use as your username to log in. Again, that nice big yellow button. And this is the one with the phone number. Or if it's, yeah, it's just working. There we go. So your name, again, I just use generic naming here. And we'll see shortly for the phone number. It needs to be entered with 1 and then a dash, the area code, and then a dash, the 3 digits of your regional code, and then a dash again, and the last 4 digits. If not, it doesn't accept it. Just like you see here, I put in Clara's number, just in case you need to contact us. It'll be presented again. Final step here, creating our password. Just like all password creation now, there's certain stipulations that you have to meet that are written down there. And finally, the next button. And we should have successfully created our login information. Oh, yeah, we have to do I agree. I've read the terms. That one you have to toggle. This lower one, I'll toggle it on and off. It's if you want to get publicity from some fees. So that's really up to you, but the top one has to be authorized, meaning you agree to their terms. And we are done. Congratulations. All right. So now we're gonna log into the app for the first time. So using that email address, and because of the screen recording, it doesn't actually show you me entering the password, but you're going to have to enter the password before you hit enter. There we go. Logging in. So they're very high on getting you to agree that you've accepted their end user licensing. All right. Now we're really getting into the heart of things. So there you are, your company. That's the name that I used to register us with. Oh, microphone. Sorry about that. So next, we're going to start by setting up one motor at a time. You can check that little box so you don't see that message every time. We will be applying or employing a Tahoma hub, so we'll put it in or say yes to it. Once we do that, we scan the QR code. We provide you a list on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of all the motors with the names and locations so you know which one it is. In the case of a battery shade, we just have to wake up the motor by pressing the programming button as it was indicated there. And now we're making the connection to the shade. This is also useful if you're doing standalone. In that case, you wouldn't have said yes to the Tahoma switch, and you can attach it to remotes directly. So we picked a roller shade. That's what we're trying to connect to. And the very first thing is to validate the rotation of the shade. So if you press down, that yellow button we see there where the cursor is, or up, and the shade doesn't go in the same direction, use that reverse direction. Once happy, you hit the next button. Now, as you can see at the top, we're setting our upper limit. The buttons on the left, if you hold them, you need to maintain them, and the shade keeps running. The buttons on the right are for micro adjustments, so you can finely tune the position of your upper limit. Once you're satisfied, we hit that big yellow button at the bottom, and now we're doing the same thing, except we're setting the lower limit. So again, left arrows, maintain them to keep the shade moving. As soon as you release it, they'll stop. And then once we're very close, if we didn't nail it exactly, you use the fine tuning adjustments on the right to get that final, the perfect position of your shade. And we hit finish. They offer you the ability to run the shade all the way up and down just to test that your limits are good. I mean, by all means, you can try it. You just hit finish. And here now, finally, the last thing at the top, we will rename the shade to something, other than the generic name they give it, something that's more meaningful for us. So when we do the integration in Control4, this will help you know which shade you're going to connect to the driver. You'll see later on, I'll remind you of it. So here we did our master Zigbee right shade. And that is the last step of setting up the shade. We're going to get offered the opportunity here in a moment to set up the next shade. Yeah, we click finish. You can see the name is now adjusted at the top. And there you go. If we're doing another shade, we just click there. And basically now the procedure is going to repeat itself. We scan the other QR code. In the case of a battery shade, we make sure that the shade is awake. And at this point, it's a Bluetooth connection between your setup device, whether it be a smartphone or a tablet, and the shade. So just make sure Bluetooth is enabled on your device, or else you won't get in touch with it. So rotation, we're just checking rotation. We're going to now go and set the upper limit for the second shade here. Fine tune the position. and move along to set the lower limit. Go. So yeah, I think I've already mentioned it, but this app is also useful if you're not doing full Control4 integration. There are standalone options available, and you would commission the shade, the same way, rotation, upper, lower limits, and then you'll be able to pair it directly to a handheld remote control that can sit by, on the kitchen counter or by the bed table. Again, the opportunity to test that shade, and even let's say somebody comes along afterwards and says, oh, the lower limit is too high, I want it a little lower or higher. We just rescan that Zigbee code, get connected to the motor again, and you'll be able to run through the process, making the necessary adjustments to get that set up just right so everybody's thrilled. There we go. We've got the name of our left shade now, our Zigbee left. And finish. And in this case, we've done our 2 shades. So we'll head back to the home page. So next up, we need to register ourselves as the dealer of record. So we use that first option, registration, and then it tells you, scan the QR code. That won't be on the sheet. It's directly located at the bottom of the Tahoma switch. In here, even though this is optional, I'd recommend that you put in your client's information, something so that it could lead you back. Once you have many, many jobs, you want to be able to filter which ones you're connecting to. So this is the opportunity to create some sort of resource to find them. We're going to look as well, there's site information on this, the next one. Typically, I'm not using it. As you can see, they're all optional fields. And again, if you wanted to track it because you were doing, a whole bunch of different, buildings, well, you could put them all in the same building and use that, as a resource to filter with. Okay, it's now going to attach us as the dealer of record. And, at the bottom, if you had a second switch, because you had more than 60 devices, you'd add, another one. In this case, we have just the one. So we're going to go ahead and set it up. We are going to connect it to the internet via Wi-Fi. You can also see below there is an optional Ethernet dongle that can be purchased if you want to have this hardwired. But on board, it comes with a Wi-Fi card. So we're setting it up with Wi-Fi in this case. So now it's asking if the LED is blue. And one of the things I like a lot about this app is it walks you through step by step. If there's something wrong, my light wasn't flashing blue, so I answered the question, no, it's not. It tells me what to do here. It says, press the button for 7 seconds on the top, and the light will start flashing blue. And then when it does, I can go to the next step. Yes, now it is flashing blue, so here we go. We'll get connected to the box here. Now it's just scanning to see what are the available Wi-Fis. Here's our Wi-Fi. We then in turn enter the password, that works with that SSID, so that the Tahoma switch is now going to get connected to your network. And just like it's saying here, you just wait until the light at the bottom turns a solid white. Once it does, we're going to move on. It asks me to reconfirm that it is solid white. And yes, it is a white light. If not, you have the option, if something went wrong, there's that lower option. They'll guide you through how to correct the problem. But I mean, typically there's no issue. Now the box is just searching for an update, so it'll run the latest firmware. And in the interest of making this go a little bit quicker, we won't make you watch the whole thing. We cut it off there. And now, after the update, we land on this page. So we know that the setup's done. So we can move along here. There we go. So now that we've set up our 2 shades, we need to add them in to the Tahoma switch. So one of the ways we can do that is by selecting Zigbee. Now, for the very first shade that we add, we have to define the channel. It's recommended to stay with auto, but if you're in a controlled environment and you know that the higher channels are, not occupied, you can certainly select a static channel as well. In the meantime, with auto, it's scanning to see the best, opening in terms of where to place itself. So this is important. They're asking you to start with the devices that are closest to the Tahoma switch, and especially the powered ones. The reason for this is because it's a mesh topology, the mesh will build out and allowing us even more range. Once we've acknowledged that, we scan the QR code for our first motor, again making sure that it's awake. So it doesn't hurt if you poke the button, but if you're like just a few minutes after commissioning it, this shade should still be awake anyways. Can't hurt if you pop it one more time just to make sure. It'll give you a little jog, a little movement to advise. So now what's happening is, again, we are pairing the shade to the Tahoma switch. We've set the limits. There it is. It's discovered. It's added. And we're going to repeat that process to add in the second shade. There we go. Offers me right away, add another product. I mean, worst case, if you said no, you could just hit the add another device at the top. There is another way to do this. We can identify it by device. So now we're saying interior roller blind. In this case, we won't be attaching a remote control, so we'll say no remote control. And again, just making sure that you're building the mesh in the most effective way. Scan the QR code to start the discovery and pair the motor to the Tahoma switch. When it's finally found, you'll actually see the shade jog just a few seconds before it says one device found with the name that we gave to it. So that's a good indication that, hey, everything's moving forward. If you see that shade jog during this pairing process, in a few seconds, the shade will be added. There we go. Our left is in there now. You can validate that. Fantastic. No more devices to add in this case, so we'll close out of it. Now it's going to be time to get ourselves connected to the Tahoma to create our groups. That starts in that bottom right. Open the Tahoma application. Totally normal. It flashes for a second and then it reconnects us over there. So the menu for this is in the bottom right corner, those three dots. That's the main, configuration menu. And to create our groups, we're going to go to Help and Advanced Features, Zigbee Network Management. And yes, you are a professional, or an advanced user, go ahead and accept it. And then we go to Zigbee Groups at the top, click the plus. It'll show us all the shades we've added. We in turn, say which ones we want in that group. You see that they have check marks beside them. Make sure those check marks are there or they won't be part of the group. And here we get to give the group a name as well. So there are ways to create groups other than this, but this is the best way to create the groups. And what I mean by that is in Control4, we're going to see it. We're going to use a Control4 group driver to merge Zigbee and PoE groups that don't natively speak to each other. The reason that you want to use this group is because it will eliminate popcorn effect, right? It's a native group right to the Zigbee Tahoma switch, and we'll be able to create a driver for that directly. Okay, our group is successfully created. If you want, you hit that plus button and you can add more groups. But now we're going to back out and we're going to enable the Control4 integration. This is an important step, and you're going to see it. It warns us, that as we try and add the devices, I'll point it out, that you need to have this turned on. So we go down in the main menu to Partners. Right there, the beautiful Control4 logo, we click on that. Again, they're saying only do this if you're an advanced user, and you certainly are. Here we see our devices, our group, our shades that we've added, as well as the PIN number, and now the integration is enabled. So that's it. We're now done in the Tahoma application. It's time to start adding those shades into the Control4 environment. So here we are. We will start in discovered because the Tahoma switch, and right now I'm highlighting the pin number. In case you have multiple, you'd see multiple there, and you can verify against the pin number. We just double click it into the room. It's SDDP and adds right in. And again, the reason we might have multiple Tahoma switches is because we have more than 60 devices, or maybe there's a range where we couldn't get to. So right now what you're seeing here is once it's brought in, we need to get an authorization token. Under the Actions tab, we will request a authorization token, and this is where it says make sure you've enabled Control4 integration in the Tahoma app. That's what we had done just before in that Tahoma app. If you don't do it, you won't get the secured token, but because we've already done it, there we go, we're secured. We're in great shape. Now it's time to start adding in shade drivers. So we'll go over to search. We'll make sure that online is checked. And then our search criteria will be Somfy. We'll type that in, hit enter, and there we go. We'll search down for Somfy Tahoma Blind. There it is, number 4. So this is the same driver that's going to be used for individual shade control as well as group shade control. So I'm adding 3 instances, the left shade, the right shade, and the group. As we do, now we'll head back up to the top, rename it, Master Zigbee, I think the right, and then the left. There we go. Now we have to find our available Tahoma switch. There we go. So you can hit the select, and it's going to show you the available ones. In our case, there's just the one. If you had more than one, you would have already identified them, maybe named them differently so you know which one was which. And we hit set. It will now pull the switch. So it's saying, please wait. In the interest of moving along, I'll just go ahead and start naming and setting up the second shade at this point. There we go, same thing, select which Tahoma it's going to be attached to. That's the same one. We hit set, and it starts pulling the device to see what are the available options to attach to that driver. Finally, our group, exactly the same driver, exactly the same process. We'll just rename it as the Master Zigbee group. And then we'll identify which Tahoma switch we expect to find that driver on. Now it's been lots of time for the first one. It's probably been ready even way before, but you can see now instead of saying please wait, it tells you when it did the polling. We go down to find the available Tahoma blinds, and we connect the corresponding one. That's why it was important to name it well in the Tahoma app, so we know that we're connecting right to right, same process left to left, and then finally it'll be the group connected to the group. All right. So now all that's left is giving us some control on our keypad. We'll head over to the Connections tab, collapse our rooms here so it's a little less busy, makes it easier for us to find what we're looking for. And there we go. So here's our master bedroom with our keypad. The Zigbee keypad is the one that we're going to be making the connections to. And I'm going to head on down to the right shade, and I'll grab the toggle button. I mean, there are discrete open or closed or stop, depending on how you want to program it. But toggle gives us a nice convenient one, so we're not, using up too many buttons to give, control over the shade. And now we'll connect the left toggle on the button that was designed for the left. And finally, the group. You'll notice that there's still one button available on this keypad, which we're going to see shortly. That's where I said we're going to use the Control4 group driver to create an all group, controlling both Zigbee and PoE shades off of one button. All right. So that was it. That was as easy as that to set up and get the system working for Zigbee. Now we're going to move on to setting up our PoE shades using the PoE configuration tool. So that tool you can download directly on the Clara portal. And we start by discovering. So it automatically will, go out onto the network as long as everything's plugged into the same network. It'll find the shades for us. There we go. There's our two PoE shades. And you can see one of the devices is showing that the encryption key is not the same as the other. So we're going to grab the key from the first one by checking the box on the left and saying, get the key. And then we are going to apply that same key to the second shade by checking it. And instead of get the key, we're going to set the key. After this, we can just refresh. And we should see both of the keys are green. We're good. It actually refreshed on its own, but I did another refresh just in case. Now we're connecting to the shade to commission it. These will come as well with a sheet of codes on it with their pin numbers. So same idea here, rotation. If you press down and the shade goes up, then hit the reverse direction. Once when you hit down, the shade goes down, we're all good. We'll hit next. Automatically, it brings us to the setting the limits. We'll start with the upper limit using the arrows. In this case, it's a press and hold. The shade keeps going. And if you just tap the buttons, it does micro movements. So hold it for big movements. Once we're happy, we hit set. Automatically, it brings us over to the lower limit. And we'll do the same thing. We'll bring that shade down to its final, the lower limit. Again, even if you commission this and somebody says the shade's too high, too low, whatever it is, you can go right back into it and set it up, modify those limits again. Now we're just heading into the second shade here. Oh no, we're naming the shade. I apologize. That's in the tab beside. You'll just touch on the name. Again, giving it a friendly name so we know which shade we're dealing with. There we go. So our right shade. And now we'll grab the left shade and do the same process. Starts in settings, and that naming is in the configuration tab just to the right of settings. So direction. It's going down when I press down. Here we go. Set our end limits, upper limit first. Get it positioned and then save it. It'll automatically progress. If the shade hasn't been set up, it'll automatically just go to lower limit. If you're resetting the limits, well, then you'll have to go into each one individually. It won't just automatically ask you to do both in case you only have to affect one of the two, not both. And there we go, well placed. Now we'll head over to configuration, give that shade a name. Hit the check mark to confirm it. All right, now it's time to create the groups. And the way that we create groups in this, first we'll just head over to the group tab. So we'll hit right away, it offers us a group. So we can name our group here. And the way that we create groups is by putting the same group name on all the shades that we want to be in that group. Now it's case sensitive, space sensitive, underscore, all that stuff. So the easiest way to make sure that we don't create groups by accidentally putting an uppercase is just copy it once we've named it on the first shade that we want it on. And then when we go over to the second shade, we can paste it in. So I'm copying it. I'm now going to connect to the second shade that I want in my group. I mean, you could have multiple shades in the group too. In our case, we only have the two, but you just, again, keep putting that same name. It doesn't have to be in the same position because you can see this is group one, but as long as it has the same name. And that's why here you're going to see, instead of me typing it out, I paste it in to make sure I don't mess up uppercase, lowercase, or anything like that. And that's it. That's all it takes to create groups. You can head over to the group tab and see the groups that you've created and even test them from here if you want to see them work. And now we're adding them into Control4. So super easy. Again, yeah, I'm just gonna wait for the video to start up here. Yeah, back in the master bedroom. We're gonna head over to Discovered, and both of our shades are gonna be there. And this at the end here is the host name. So on that sheet of paper that has the pin numbers, which we're going to discuss in a second, it will have the host name. So you know when you double click that in from SDDP, you can check against the host name, and here it is. That's our master PoE right shade. And once we have that put in there, on that same label where we saw the host name, we'll see the pin number. So we'll set our pin number for that particular shade. And that's as easy as it was to add an individual shade. We're just going to repeat that process now for the left shade. There she is. Find our pin number, put it in. And yes, they'll all have unique pin numbers. For groups, it's not the same driver. We go over to search again, make sure that online is checked. And again, our search criteria is going to be Somfy. And there at the very top is our Somfy PoE Motor Blind V2. We double click that. Now the driver, well, now I rename it, but the driver itself comes in as a single shade. You probably won't use this because the easiest way is to bring them in via SDDP. But what's important is that we can convert this from a single shade to a group shade. So we convert it to a group shade. Once we hit set, there we go. Then we go and find the available groups that we have available to us. And there it is, the PoE group that we created. Click set. That's it, done. Now we connect these to our keypad like we did before. This one is going to be on the PoE keypad that we set up for the bedroom. And again, I'm using toggle up, open, close, stop, or all. You have all discrete operations as well if you want to use them. That left guy plugged on the left button. And the group on the topmost button. There we go. All right, time to create a group of both Zigbee and PoE. So natively, they don't make groups together. Fortunately, there is a smart way to handle this, the Control4 blind group driver. So over in the search, we'll again make sure online is checked. And Control4 blind group, we'll hit enter. There it is. We double click to add that into our room. I mean, you can drag it across as well. We'll give her a name. Shortly, we're going to go to that top property there, blinds, and we're going to select which ones. You're going to see all the blinds available, but I'm just going to grab the two groups. So there you go. You can see the left. You could click right, left individually, but it's better to click the groups again, so avoiding, you know, as much as possible popcorn effect. And once we've selected our two groups, we hit set. Time to connect them. So take the toggle and put that on the All Shades button on both of our keypads. And away we go. So outdoor shade. Now it's time to add our outdoor shade. The outdoor shade in this case is pre-commissioned because it's not an application or a web GUI or anything. We head back into the Tahoma Pro once it's all set up. We connect to our Tahoma switch using the code at the bottom. And then once connected, we're going to just go ahead and add a device again. In this case, our outdoor shade is in RTS motor. So instead of going to Zigbee, we'll go to RTS. And we're going to do window covering and a roller, or yep, and then exterior roller blind. There we go. Yep, so put the equipment into programming mode. Basically, for this particular motor, you would just hold the button on the back of the remote until the shade jogs. Once it jogs, it's in listening mode. We send the command from the Tahoma switch by hitting that yellow button, and now we've made that pairing. It will offer us the chance to test it. If it doesn't work, we can just go back in and do it again, but as long as you're within range, the Tahoma switch to the outdoor shade motor, they're just going to connect. Look, here it's verifying, hey, yeah, did you control it? In which case I did. If not, you would say no, and it'll allow you to do that pairing process again. We'll give that shade a name. So when we pair it in Control4, it's just easier. We know which one we're talking about. And once named, we hit that validate button. And that's it. We're done now. In the Tahoma app, we are going to add this to Control4. So here we head over to search, and the same deal. Check online, put in Somfy as your search criteria. And it's going to be the same driver that we used before, the Somfy Tahoma blind. So we'll click that in. There she goes. Identify our Tahoma again. So here's the please wait, and you can see it's pretty rapid that it's going to go through. Again, earlier I just figured not to waste any time. Let's start naming them and move along while it pulls. Now that it's finished polling, we can go to the pull down list, and we have our new outdoor shade available, just like we named it in the Tahoma app. And the last step is that connections. So we reserved one button on our outdoor keypad in the kitchen, and we'll drag that toggle down to the shade. And that's it. So we've now added shades. Zigbee shades commissioned them, PoE shades commissioned them, outdoor shade, and we've added them all into Control4 and got them set up for control. I'm going to hand things over to Alex now to talk about our dealer portal.
Thank you, Jason. So now let's dive into the features and functionality of the Clara Shades dealer portal. So the dealer portal is designed to work seamlessly across all devices, cell phone, tablets, and laptops. You can access it through the website app.clarashades.com. Inside the portal, you can view all the projects linked to your account. Let's talk about the advanced mode on the Clara Shades portals, which this new feature, dealers now have the ability to fully customize their shades without needing to send custom shade requests. In advanced mode, you can specify unique dimensions, choose from variety of fabrics, select motor options, pick tube size, and much more. It gives you complete control to create shades that meet your specific needs. Now let's take a look at two examples of what you can do with the advanced mode enabled. We'll walk through setting up an extra large 138-inch wide shade, followed by a 83-inch tall shade in a Type 3 system using a reduced tube. So first example, we make sure that we turn on the advanced mode. In this example, we're going to do in detail quote. We're going to select the PO motor with a modern blackout, white, 138 by 97. That's what we need. We're trying to achieve it in an enclosed Type 4, glossy finish in white. It's an outside mount. We're going to put the end cap on. and we want a regular roll. Now we can see there's an advertisement. It's telling you, it's giving you 3 options, but the one we want to do now is we go back there and we turn on the fabric railroaded. And now it's just telling you the fabric is railroaded and you can save. Prior to that, you could not save, but now you could save. So we were able to turn on the fabric railroading, and with that option, you can railroad the entire room. So for that particular shade, that was the big one. But let's say there's a normal size shade right beside it. You might want to railroad that fabric too, so you have the same finish next to it, and yeah, now you can save it. Now, second example, the tube selection. So again, you make sure the advanced mode is turned on. If you already turned it on, it would have stayed on. Now it's more for a purpose of scenario. We selected a PoE motor, modern 1% fabric in white, and now we're doing 70 by 83. We continue. We want to do an enclosed type 3 because that's the space we have, let's say. So we need that 3 by 3 inch bracket in white. An outside mount. Generally, you're gonna have this scenario in an inside mount, but sometimes an outside mount also. Regular rule, you cannot save it. And you can see on the right side, the roll size is too big. It's telling it's too big for the type 3 section. But you know what? We put the reduce tube and it passes the portal. The portal is analyzing your width and height and making sure it's doable. And now in this example, it was doable. So now you have a roll size that is 0.3 inches smaller, which was the necessary to make that shed work in that type 3 system. Another option would have been put the type 4 system instead of the type 3 because it's a 4 by 4 inch bracket, so you have more space for higher shades. But you know, sometimes this will help you out for a specific scenario. And now the Shade Simulator is a powerful visual tool available on our website at www.clarashades.com. It helps you show your customers different options like fabric choices, inside or outside mounts, open roll or enclosed setup, and view from both inside and outside. Additionally, you can integrate the simulator into your own website using a single line of HTML code found on the dealer portal. It allows you to keep your customers on your own site rather than redirecting them on our website.
With our commitment to excellence and innovation, you can truly see the difference in every aspect of our product offerings and our streamlined approach to the dealer channel. We ensure that every project begins smoothly with our tailored pre-sales engineering consultations. After placing an order, our rapid lead times of 2 to 3 weeks for indoor shades and 4 to 6 weeks for outdoor shades enables you to meet deadlines with ease. On site, you can easily access our 3-tiered support team via phone, email, or by scheduling a Genius Squad session, ensuring you and your team receive timely and effective assistance whenever needed. To make selling shades even easier, we have provided access to affordable sample books and demo stands, either through the portal or at any Snap store. Additionally, you have access to marketing collateral and the embedded shade simulator, which can be integrated directly onto your very own website. We also offer a 30% discount on demo orders, which include 5 indoor shades and 1 outdoor shade, as well as our 10% discount on your first order to get things started on the right foot. Additionally, let's not forget 3 points for every dollar spent, aligning with the reward system for Snap One's first-party products. Please remember to document any discounts in the project notes to assure that they are applied correctly. This is crucial for maintaining the integrity and accuracy of the ordering process. So finally, I just wanted to say, we talked about our Zigbee shades, PoE and outdoor, but that's not everything that Clara has to offer. Remember, we also have A-line, a cost-effective battery shade, the Q-line, a 4-conductor shade, motorization options for Roman shades, manual shades, and motorized tracks. These product lines were highlighted in previous videos, which you can find on the Snap One Partner Store YouTube channel. If you have any questions after today's session, please don't hesitate to call us or send an email to dealer@clarashades.com. Remember, you can also book a Genius session through the portal at any time. Thank you for joining us today. Your engagement and participation are greatly appreciated. We're now ready to open the floor to questions, so feel free to ask anything or share your thoughts.
Thank you, Jason. So I'm looking at the questions. We're at the end of the webinar. Maybe we're going to take a few extra minutes after the, because now Eastern time, it's already 12:56. We're going to take a couple of questions here. So there's Jeremy who asked, I have downloaded the PoE configurator tool, but it is unable to discover any PoE shades on my home network. I'm on the same subnet, so I'm not sure what is the issue. Jeremy, the best thing is call support later today. Jason will be able to help you out. So yeah, this afternoon, please call in. We're gonna help you figure it out. Roger, is a Somfy Pro tool only a mobile app or is it on the Clara portal? So Somfy Pro tool, it's an application. So this, the one that you download, and there is a direct link on the Clara portal. It's the PoE configurator tool. So the link is on the Clara portal. You can download it. But everything that you saw that it was on a cell phone earlier, it's really, you need to download the application. The application exists on Android and Apple. Tarek now, thanks for the time. I need to run to another call. Tarek, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for everyone who joined the webinar today. Thank you for your time. Kyle, can you show us how the measuring of the windows should take place at the job site so we order correctly? There is, Kyle, you can book a Genius. We can do a one-on-one. Book a Genius. We're gonna talk about measurement technique. There is a YouTube video that is called on the Control4, sorry, not the Control4, but the Snap One Partner Store YouTube channel. There's a video called Clara Shades Best Practices, and it's oriented towards measuring techniques in specific scenarios: inside mount, outside mount, cabling a shade, coupled shade, and also so yeah, so that's pretty much it. And also, sorry, and also like corner shades, you know, when we have a button pass in L-shaped configuration or U-shaped configuration, and also bay windows. So there's a lot in that video. So again, Clara Shades Best Practices on the Snap One YouTube channel. But you can book a Genius. I really recommend that you go towards the Genius Squad. Wayne, if you need the QR code or the PoE pin after the initial installation and the homeowner or dealer cannot find the paperwork, is there a way to identify out of paperwork? So there is, I don't know, Jason, if you can take this one.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we typically have a backup. You could get in touch with us and we can, forward you a copy of it. In the very worst case scenario, it's, you can't reach us and you really have to get to it. All the motors, which you can easily slide out, it does require you taking the shade down, will have that information on it. So, I mean, the easiest is getting in touch with us, but failing that, if you're really in a bind, take out the motor from the tube and you will see the information on the motor directly.
You can see the email on the screen, but on the portal, there is a second email to support@clarashades.com. So you can ask this kind of request to get like a scan of your codes if you lose that paper. But I would just make sure that even you guys, when you receive that paper in the box, take a picture of it, save it in your own company file system, and then you will have a backup too.
One quick thing to add, Alex, is look for one of the, sometimes we put accessories in the larger shade boxes, or like larger boxes with smaller shades inside. At the end of the boxes, it will say accessories. It's there you're gonna find your accessories as well as that documentation.
David, now, which motor is better, Somfy or Nice? What is the difference? So it's a very good question. So the Nice motor, you know, it's our Q line since you're asking the question, and Somfy is pretty much the S line. If you want my opinion now, David, and Q line, the Nice motor are very good motor, but for me, a little bit like the slide, we said it when we introduced earlier, the PoE Ultra motor. For me now, that's kind of the best motor. And just inside a Clara Shade, a Clara Shade is not only the motor, right? But for me, a Clara Shade with the PoE Ultra motor in it, for an integrator like you who do Control4, it's the best scenario possible. The shade is adjustable physically. Now you just have a Cat 5e. It's going into your network switch that you have already in place, because that's part of your job, having a switch that has PoE plus and PoE plus plus capability. So already you have that. There's no more shade panels. It's an ultra quiet motor. Like we said, around 40 decibel. If you lower the speed of the motor, you're gonna even reach lower than 40 decibel per shade. So it's a premium product, but if you want my opinion, now it's the best way for an integrator to do shades in today's world. And without saying anything bad against any other product, the other products are very, very good. For a long time, our Q line was our only way to do extra big shades. It's not true anymore since PoE Ultra is out. So now, but if you go on a job and you have 4 conductors that are there, you already have a 4 conductor, it's too late to pass a Cat cable. The Q line will be an amazing solution. And for people, there's some people that just want to do shades with 4 conductors. They're used to that. They're afraid to do the leap and go to this solution. Is a great solution too. So yes. Justin, now, is there a backup file available once the shades are set up to the bridge, and can that be downloaded to a new bridge if the original bridge ever needs to be replaced? Jason?
Yeah, so I've never had to replace a bridge, so it's an excellent question I haven't encountered. I'd invite you to write to us at support@Clara Shades, so that I can follow up with you, and I'll have to inquire myself, never having experienced that problem. I know the config of the motors is stored in the motors themselves, so if you reattach them, limits are already there. You know, the same with the PoE, that they're stored in the motor itself. So, but if the Tahoma switch has a backup, it's a great question. Send me an email and I'll definitely stay in touch with you.
And the bridge, if I can just say also, there's no bridge with the PoE shade. So it's really for the Zigbee shades. The PoE shades, the Tahoma is not, we said it earlier, it's not communicating to the Zigbee shades. The the PoE shades talks directly to Control4. So there's no backup to do on anything. So if a motor fails, you're gonna swap the motor, readjust the limits. That's just part of the deal, and reassign it to Control4, let's say. But the Zigbee shade, first of all, the Tahoma shade, it's not something we encounter. But let's say it's happening. You're the 1 in a million. It's happening to you. You will need to reconfigure some of the Jason will be able to help you out the best way to do it. But a lot of the configuration is also in the motor. So you're not losing that also. Dan, now, can the Somfy remotes be added to the Tahoma Pro app? Jason?
So yeah, if you're using a YCA remote control, you can add that to the Tahoma Pro. And in fact, that's how you would determine which shades are being controlled if you're doing a full integration. If you're doing direct integration, well, then you'd be adding the shade directly to the remote. But if you have a Tahoma switch, you would add the shade to the switch, you would add the remote to the switch, and then you would go into the configuration of that remote and say, when I'm on channel 1, I want this shade to operate, or this group of shades.
And guys, just to tell you, we're gonna try to answer as many questions, but we're gonna try to to do at least a maximum of 5 to 10 more minutes on the question. If anything, if we're not able to answer all of your questions, send us an email, dealer@clarashades.com, or call us today. We'll be able to answer your question if we're not able to answer everything. Now, Craig, is there anything in the work for a nightstand keypad for Control4, like Lutron Pro Shades Control? That's pretty much a nightstand keypad. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're, but that would be more a Control4 question than us. I think you can ask your Control4 rep on this one. Maybe call their support to see if you can get an answer on that. Which type of batteries for the shade? So we have two lineups of battery. We covered one today, the Zigbee one. We also have our A line. Both of our battery operated shades are lithium ion battery. So you don't need to replace these cell batteries. You just recharge them. Both have the optional magnetic adapter to it. So you need to recharge them with ease around once a year. Some of them last even longer than that. So it's an average conservative number when we're say one year per shade. So when Sven now, does Clara have a rough-in mount that can be put in post drywall that can be mudded to make it a cleaner or hidden install? So me, I think I'm not sure, but I'm not sure if you want to talk more about pockets. So if you're talking about pockets, because generally what people will do is recess the shade in the ceiling. We do have a pocket closure. So today we didn't cover hardware that we do. There's another video that we did introduce, Clara Shades introducing indoor shades, which we go more in depth in indoor shades, and we talk about all the hardware or most of the hardware that is available on the Clara portal. So yes, and when you're doing that and you go in a recess pocket, let's say, you can even select the brackets that are like the squared brackets with adjustment for that, because after that you're gonna put that flap or that pocket closure. So you're gonna close the pocket. So you can use, and we have a more rough pocket too. But if you're talking about like an inside mount shade with recessed, no, we do not have that. What we do have though, it's a super clean finish for open roll or a facial look that just hide the shade if you go an inside mount like that. So those are our options. Steve, now, do you order the Talma switch for the Sumfew direct from the portal? When you design a project on the Clara portal, in the accessory section, you will have all the accessories available. So the Talma switch will be there, the remote controls, the power supply, individual power supply. You will have also like shade panels if you need those for 24-volt DC, Zigbee shades, let's say, or the charger for battery shades. So all the accessories are there. There's a section on the portal, add accessories to a project, but within each project, there's an add accessories section built in each project there where you can add or remove some accessories. Ronald, now, definitely sign up for the Talma Pro account now. It took over a day for approval from when I signed up. Not something you want to do on the job site. It's fluctuating. If you did it a couple of months ago, like even a year ago, the process was a little bit longer. Now it's supposed to be faster. I'm not saying that sometimes there's no more requests on the Sumfee side and it can take more time, but generally, and I get the feedback from dealers too, now the time is really shorter than it was before. So even before, we're trying to tell them, download the application, it takes a day. Now you're more in like, if we're talking odds, you're more like unlucky if it takes a day. But again,
Yeah,
like Jason said earlier, like you heard about it today. If you saw that webinar, download it today. Don't wait. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, I signed up for that made fictitious account within minutes. The reasons that sometimes, and it does happen infrequently, is that the email is already registered on the Sumfee server for a different purpose, or the company name has already been registered. And then in this case, we do have to contact Somfy so that they can make an adjustment in the back end, which takes 24 hours to update. So again, like Alex had said, like everybody said, if you download it today and you have any trouble, then we'll get you set straight before you get to site. Definitely don't wait till you're on site to try and do it. You're not doing yourself any favors.
Yeah, and thank you for pointing it out. It's a good to know.
Yeah.
Randy, now, are you having a PoE blind with double roll? So we do have dual shades. So, but you require one cat cable per shade. Listen, there is some exceptions. There is some tools that exist. I know a Ubiquiti one and a TrendNet one that exists. It's a PoE splitter, but it splits PoE plus plus into two PoE plus. It's a little bit more on the bulky side. It's new products. It's bulky a little bit. You know, with time, I suspect those devices to become smaller, and maybe one day it's gonna be even PoE Ultra divided into two PoE plus plus. This doesn't exist yet. From what I know, PoE plus plus into two PoE plus, but they have a maximum when it's split like this with those kind of device, it becomes 24 watts per motor available. So if you go that direction, you can be limited. Also, let's say one pair get damage, we were able to achieve in some scenarios with some specific switches, we were able to even achieve one shade, one PoE shade over two pairs. It will not work with every switch, but we do have, let's say it's happening to you, you have one pair who died on your Cat 5e, there's ways to make it work. So if it happened to you, call our support, will be able to help you out. But there are some workarounds that exist. So very good question. Human. Hello, Human. I think you're the Human I know that we meet sometimes. So hello. For the PoE, and also Randy, I think we spoke in the past, so hello to you too. And everybody else, in fact. So, but anyway, for the PoE using a switch, any specific switch recommend, and do we need to reserve the IP for each shade? So there is an email. You can send me an email. There is some switches like Arachnid switch. It works with every PoE plus switch. There are some switches that we recommend, like Arachnid. There is some Arachnid makes a wonderful job, but it's gonna work even with other brands that Snap One or EDI sells. If the specs are there, PoE plus or PoE plus plus when required, it will work, but you always need to make sure that you have the right amount of power budget too. With one PSU, the maximum that I saw so far, I think it's 720 or 780 watts per switch. That's the maximum you can do on one power supply. So you need to check those specs out, but just choosing the right switch, you can call us. I know a lot of dealers are using Arachnid right now. So, but it's working with almost any PoE, even if you have only one PoE shades with a PoE plus injector, it will work also. Michael.
Just real quickly
Yeah,
on the IP,
go ahead. Yeah.
on the IP question.
Go
In
ahead.
Control4, if you were going to manually enter them and not use SDDP, then yes, you would want to set them static. But if you're using SDDP, then there's no need.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
Michael, are you required to use the Tauma even though Control4 has Zigbee in the controllers? Very good question, Michael. Today, the answer is yes. In 2025, somewhere in 2025, it should, if there's no delay, if it's coming out at the rhythm it's supposed to come out, you will have another driver. We will probably do another webinar on that, but you will have that capability of joining Control4 Mesh directly with the exact same shade that is available now on our portal. So it's really a question of Control4 will upgrade their mesh, and then they will, at one point in wave one, we're gonna be part of those third-party devices that will have that capability of joining the mesh. I suspect we're not gonna join as an endpoint, but in the future, you will have those capability. So right now, a Zigbee Shade can work in standalone with a remote control, tagging only to a remote control. You can do an integration with the Tauma, and the Tauma can work in standalone without the integration to Control4. And then you can integrate it with Control4. And in 2025, somewhere, those shades will have direct communication with Control4. And trust me, we'll try to do everything to reach the to make sure the information comes to you. Done now. And so we're gonna finish with those two last questions. Thank you guys for all those good questions. Done now. Can you control PoE shade with a remote if there is no automation system? Jason, if you want to talk about it.
So no. I mean, the PoE offering would be integrated into third-party control systems. If you want to give the client a simple handheld remote control, I'd look at the Zigbee lineup or the A-line lineup. And two, if they think that in the future they may want to integrate, especially the Zigbee would be the direction that I'd go with, because you will have not only standalone access, proprietary app control, but you can also integrate in the future.
And finally, last question, Simon. I am working on a new home project being built now. Are there any design services? So absolutely. The answer is yes. The best way just to kick us up, book a Genius Squad, and we'll be able, at least you brief us on the project. We can build a project for you to save you time and to help you design the right way and to select the right product for your project. So the answer is yes. I would strongly suggest that you just book a Genius, maybe tomorrow, and we go through it together, or with Jason here, or somebody from the Genius call. You send us the plan, and we'll be able to even build a project for you on the portal. So at least you have a price to start with. So the answer is yes. And what you can also do is send those prints to dealer@clarashades.com. Again, you can see it on your screen right now, dealer@clarashades.com. You send those prints, we will reach out to you. But the best way, your own schedule, you can even set it up and say design services. And the other question that people ask, is it free? The answer is yes. We're here to help. It's a free service that we offer. So you can book us in advance on Genius Squad, and we can help you design your solution. And yes. So Elizabeth, I'm passing you the mic for the final word.
Fantastic. Thank you again, Jason and Alex, for your time today. Thank you, everyone, for joining. This session is recorded. It will be made available on snap1events.com/archive. I've included it in the chat. Clara Shades is also going to be on tour. Jason and Alex, you'll see them again for in-person training starting in January. We have begun promoting it, so I included the link in the chat for those of you that are nearest partner store. There are going to be at 23 of our stores, so hopefully it's at one near you and you can attend for more training. All right, well, thank you again for your time. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Bye-bye.
Bye.